And though we have many stories, we all share one home and one glorious destiny, a destiny that's getting better and better every single day. And whether we are black or brown or white, and you've heard me say this before, we all bleed the same red blood. We all salute the same great American flag. And we are all made by the same Almighty God. We face many challenges. There are many hills and mountains to climb. But with the strength and courage of the patriots assembled in this room tonight, we will and you see it all the time, and we're doing it all the time because we're scaling those summits, and we will get the job done. We will all prove worthy of this very important moment in history, and we will prove worthy of the sacrifice that our brave veterans have made. As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, we will not fail. As long as our country remains true to its values, loyal to its heroes, and devoted to its creator, then our best days are yet to come, because we will make America great again. To my friend, Pastor Jeffers, and to Paula, and to Louie, and to Harry, and Luis, and to everybody in this room and everybody in this country, thank you for your great support. I appreciate it. I will not let you down. To all of our incredible veterans, to the people in the military, and to evangelical Christians who came out in record numbers, thank you. Have a wonderful Independence Day. God bless you. God bless our nation's veterans. God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
President Trump just wrapping a major speech in Washington, D.C., honoring our veterans. Hello and welcome to this special 4th of July weekend edition of Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us. The president at the Kennedy Center in our nation's capital tonight, just finishing a powerful address at the Celebrate Freedom rally, an event honoring our veterans, including wounded warriors who are patients at the Walter Reed Medical Center. Joining me now with reaction to President Trump's speech, retired Navy SEAL who served 2 tours of duty in Operation Iraqi Freedom, Carl Higbee. Good evening, Carl. Thanks for being with us. What's your reaction to the president?
Powerful, powerful. I mean, this is a guy who shows so much respect and so much admiration for people who wore the uniform. And, You can make the point here that President Trump lost the popular vote by 5%, but yet he won the veteran vote by almost 30%. So you could argue that veterans pushed him over the finish line, and he pays it back. I mean, this is a guy who genuinely cares about those who serve their country.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Carl. I mean, the speech was powerful. It was passionate. He was hitting on those old themes of good versus evil. And when he said, "There's no place I'd rather be on my first 4th of July celebration as president than with you, the veterans," there was no doubt in my mind that he meant it.
100%. This is a genuine guy, and people who say that they don't trust him. He's got a number of things in the pipeline here. The biggest thing, though, is allowing the military to do what the military does. You can see what he's done with Secretary Mattis now with the Pentagon. He has allowed the military to operate as a military force, not as a diplomatic force. If you want to be diplomatic, send diplomats. But he's allowing us to do our job, which is put bullets in bad guys and Tomahawk missiles where there's chemical weapons coming from. We didn't have that in the last administration. The military overwhelmingly supports that.
You know, Carl, for you, I mean, you're a Navy SEAL. I mean, you were in Iraq several times. When you think about the 4th of July and Independence Day, I mean, what does it conjure up in your mind as a veteran?
It's a very humbling experience. And, you know, Judge, you're one of the few people who can get me out of the fireworks. I can hear them going off in the background here. And to me, it is such a humbling experience. When I see those fireworks going off, it has such significance. It brings tears to my eyes. And I sat there with my daughter today, and I explained to her what it means to be American and how important it is and how free we are as a nation. We're the envy of the entire planet. And nobody has been able to achieve what we have. And it really is something that is truly special to be a part of this and to celebrate this 4th of July holiday.
And Carl, let me say on behalf of so many Americans, thank you for your service and what you've done. Carl Higbee, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. And next, more reaction to President Trump's memorable speech to veterans and faith-based voters at the Kennedy Center. Jerry Falwell Jr. is standing by live with his take. Back in a moment.
Live from America's News headquarters, I'm Marianne Rafferty. Little Rock, Arkansas, grappling with escalating violence. A dozen drive-by shootings there in the past 9 days. The latest incident, a nightclub shooting early this morning, left 25 people with gunshot wounds. They were hit during an estimated 11 seconds of gunfire. 3 other people were injured in that melee that followed. Police credit quick work by first responders for the reason there were no fatalities. Police say they believe it is also gang-related. And Iraqi forces are working to flush out the last ISIS forces in Mosul, Iraq's second largest city. It's been occupied by the terror group for 3 years. Civilians are fleeing even as gunshots and explosions ring out around them. The UN warns that the intense and concentrated warfare puts tens of thousands of civilians still there at even greater risk of danger. I'm Marianne Rafferty. Now back to Justice with Judge Jeanine.
Welcome back to Justice. President Trump just wrapping a moving speech in D.C. to veterans. Joining me now by phone with reaction to that speech and more, counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. Good evening, Kellyanne. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Judge. Thanks for having me remotely. How are you?
Well, I'm sure you're hopefully having some rest this weekend, but what's your reaction to the president's speech?
Well, this is exactly why the president ran in the first place, Jeanine. Today he honored Christian evangelicals, he honored veterans. And, you know, I always remind people that last year, really last July, Mr. Trump, when he was running, put the whole challenge to this country when he said, sure, I have a 10-point plan to reform the Veterans Administration. But more importantly, if we don't take care of our veterans, who are we as a nation? And he really placed that challenge on all of us. Who are we as a nation? And I think nights like tonight at the Kennedy Center, he's honoring these veterans in a way ahead of the birthday of our Independence Day, birthday of our country. He also spoke about religious liberty. He basically conveyed the message that no one's going to stop you from practicing your faith or saying what's in your heart, that his administration will always support and defend your religious liberty. We don't want to see God forced out of our public squares. We want people to feel comfortable to say prayers before meals, to be praised outwardly for their service and for them. And he also called out an 89-year-old World War II veteran, which is just remarkable. He also really talks about education and the role of parents. He said parents, not bureaucrats, know how best to raise their children and create a thriving society. Why is that important? Well, it's important because we just, Washington, D.C., the swamp, Jeanine, is a place where the federal government believes it's so invasive, intrusive, expensive, expansive. It believes it knows best what's right for Americans. And the president is saying, excuse me, individuals and certainly parents know what's best for their children.
Well, and Kellyanne, it seemed to me that the president, I mean, he is always at his best when he talks about the military, talks about law enforcement and religion. I mean, these are three themes that he promised he's delivering on with the executive order on the Johnson Amendment, that he will continue to deliver on. And as someone of faith, I mean, for me to hear my president, it's so unusual these days to say, if you want to say a prayer before a football game, we're going to let you say that prayer. I mean, it's reassuring. Right. But the president at this point has, I think, made it clear what his strengths are. And he needs to stay focused on speeches like this and not get crazy with Twitter.
I love the fact that he connects directly with people on social media and otherwise, Jeanine. But, we just appreciate that you're covering the substance, because the other things that he talked about tonight, he did mention the press, but most importantly, he mentioned all the promises he's keeping on Supreme Court, on judicial restraint, frankly, that what he veterans. I mean, you're one of the few shows, one of the few networks out there that even bothers to connect veterans with the information they need and they deserve. They've got a veterans hotline. The Veterans Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act is for them. The idea that they've got medical records that makes them a seamless patient throughout the entire federal government now. Nothing short of remarkable. And then I think he got raucous applause, really, when he talked about how we worship God. We don't worship the government in this country. And I think that really, really encapsulates who he is.
Well, I think that is the most powerful line of the speech. In America, we don't worship our government, we worship God. But let me just go to one thing, and I have to ask you some stuff of substance. Senator Mitch McConnell said that he's going to stick with his plan to simultaneously repeal and replace Obamacare, despite the president's call, saying, let's repeal it and replace it later. And what I interpreted as sarcasm was Mitch McConnell saying, it's not easy making America great again, is it? Is McConnell showing himself to be that old, entrenched Republican establishment fighting with the outsider, or am I wrong?
The president and Leader McConnell speak daily. They're in close contact with respect to health care and other pieces of legislation that need to move through the Senate, Jeanine. And I have great confidence, in fact, that this Republican majority, that the country elected, House, Senate, White House, governorships, state legislatures, they want action. They don't want divided government. And they're saying to Leader McConnell and the president, come up, get to yes, come up with a deal. One option is to repeal and replace simultaneously. Another option is to go back to, and look at what these senators voted on in 2015, when so many of them, with the exception of one, Senator Collins, voted for specific health care principles. So, namely, to get rid of all those taxes and penalties under Obamacare, to slow the growth of, slow down the expansion, not end it, but slow it down, so that governors have more flexibility. And as Secretary Price has pointed out, the Senate bill in its current configuration would increase spending by $71 billion on Medicaid for the next decade. So those who lie about that, those who are denying are lying about that.
Well, let me just say, Kellyanne, because I don't have a lot of time here.
But we feel confident that something will be passed this summer, that the president will get a bill on his desk and it'll sign into law, followed in quick succession by tax reform.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, my money is on that as well, Kellyanne, but I was kind of surprised at Mitch McConnell's comment. But in any event, the president hit it out of the park tonight. He was as solid and as passionate on all of his promises that he's been delivering on, and tremendous respect for the veterans. Anyway,
I want to say one more thing quickly about it, Jeanine. The president was already at Bedminster with his family, enjoying a well-deserved day or two, and yet he flew right back to Washington tonight to make good on that promise to be the Kennedy Center to honor those veterans. It tells you something about his leadership and his commitment.
Well, no question. And when he said there's no place I'd rather be, I absolutely
meant it.
believe him. Kellyanne Conway, thanks so much for being with us.
See you soon. Happy birthday,
Okay,
America.
good.
Take care.
Thanks. And next, faith, a huge part of the president's speech. Jerry Falwell Jr. is standing by live with his take. Back in a moment.